Alright, what's up, guys? I'm gonna need you to pay attention. Alright, folks, so basically today I want to talk about the first steps to take in order to get rid of bad habits and unwanted behaviors. So I've figured this out by really paying attention to my craft and what I do, right? As a coach, as a fitness coach, what is training, right? Because essentially that's what I do, right? I train people, right? I train people to be better, to operate at a higher state of being, right? So how do you do that? Well, in the gym, when you're training specific movements and things like that, oftentimes people start off with really bad movement patterns. Now, what I'll do is I'll let them do that movement. I'll observe what they need to fix within that movement pattern. So I look at it, and let's say a squat. Maybe the knees come in, the heels come off the ground, they're on their toes, the back is rounded out, right? And they may even say things like, oh, my back hurts or my knees hurt. Then, as they begin to continue to do more repetitions, I will guide them and verbally cue them on what they need to fix and do differently. Stay flat in your heels, push your knees apart, pick your chest up, different things like that. Now, I need to repeat these things over time so that they really stick in the person's mind, right, that I'm training. And so as time goes on, every time they go back to that squat, their form gets better until eventually I don't have to say anything at all, right? Because now they're aware and they know how to cue themselves so that they don't continue to have that bad form and those bad habits. So cool, that's how I train people to become better and move better and different things like that, right? But so what? What does that have to do with fixing behaviors? Well, it's the same thing. If you can fix a physical behavior, you can fix a mental behavior, an emotional behavior at the same time. The same way, right? You can fix it the same way. Cues, mental cues, verbal cues, internal cues, right? What do those cues do? When I train someone and I say something, what does it do to you? It makes you aware, right? So essentially the first step to fixing bad behaviors and unwanted behaviors and bad habits is step one, awareness, right? To raise your sense of awareness. So for all of you who may have, you may struggle with cigarette smoking. You may struggle with drinking too much when you're out with your friends. You may struggle with diet. Maybe you eat very clean throughout the whole week and then the weekends come and you just binge out. Or maybe your job sucks and it's stressing you out and so you stress eat. And you're trying to stop, or you want to stop, but you don't. So you have to ask yourself, well, if you want to stop, then why don't you just stop? It's not really that easy to just stop now, is it, right? Because if it was that easy for everyone, everybody would just stop the bad habits. And of course, the first step to fixing a problem is to acknowledge you have one, of course. And a lot of people acknowledge they have a problem, but that doesn't fix it. So how do we take this awareness and put it into action so that we can start fixing and improving our behavior, right? Our habits. So now what I want to do is I want to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how aware are you? What I want you to do is when you're watching this video, I want you to comment down below what your number was. Seriously, comment, leave a comment and tell me what your level is. Okay? Now, and I have a good idea what the answer is going to be because 97% of people often choose the same answer. So I'm not going to say it because then you're going to know what it is, but we'll see in the comments, right, how right I am. I may give you the numbers at the end, but more than likely you'll be able to see for yourself. Moving on. All right, cool. So you got your number. Now ask yourself, if your awareness was at a 7 or an 8, now ask yourself, do you have bad habits? Do you have certain behaviors that you want to get rid of? If you do, and your state of awareness is at a 7 or an 8, pretty high, then why can't you fix your behaviors? Why haven't you got rid of those bad habits yet? Chances are it may not be that high. Right? If you're at a 7, 8, 9, or 10, whatever, or even a 6, why haven't you got rid of those habits? What's stopping you? Have you even thought about your bad habits today? Or did you just think about it because I said it, because I asked you? Right? And so there's really things, and the only way this is going to work is if you're honest. You have to be honest in order for this to work. So, moving on. Okay. Now, when I talk about awareness and things, I'm going to give you an example. When you're out in the street and you're mad, right? You don't just go up to random people and punch them in the face, right? Because you're upset. Because you know it's wrong. They might punch you back in your face, right? Or they might call the police on you. You get arrested, charged for assault, all kind of stuff like that. And essentially you're an asshole because you did that. You don't want to be an asshole. You don't want to get arrested and charged with assault. And you don't want to get punched in your face. So you don't do it. You're aware of the consequences of the behavior, which is why you don't do it. See what I'm saying? If you used to get a kitchen knife right now and take the tip of that kitchen knife and you press it up against your rib cage, right in your chest, and you start to push. You know, when you feel pain, that pain is awareness telling you this is not a good idea and that you should stop. But oftentimes, those are very extreme examples, right? But even something like cigarette smoking or binge eating, a lot of the times when we do these bad behaviors, we're not aware of it until after we do it, and we go, oh man, I did it again. I skipped days in the gym, or I went and bought another pack of cigarettes. I went outside and smoked another cigarette. I had another drink today, right? I ate some crappy food and I really overdid it, and I just ruined everything, all my progress this week, right, by eating this garbage, right? And then we ridicule ourselves and we're super critical. And we're like, I gotta stop. Now what I'm gonna say to you is I would invite you to, instead of forcibly trying to stop yourself from doing these things, just do it. Just do the thing, right? But when you do it, really analyze it while you're doing it. So as you're eating that double bacon cheeseburger, just think, oh, all of this saturated fat and greasy food is going straight to my arteries. It's plugging up my heart, raising my cholesterol, raising my blood pressure, spiking my insulin. Spiking insulin repeatedly causes diabetes. Diabetes may run in my family, all kind of stuff, right? Think about it. When you're eating that beef, right, think about, the cow that had its throat slit and that was scared half to death or scared completely to death, right, in order for that to be on your plate. Be aware of it. These animals that are bred in these poor conditions just to be slaughtered and put on your plate. Think about it. Be aware of all these things. And keep making yourself aware as you do it. Don't judge yourself. Don't be critical on yourself. Just be aware of the consequences of what you're doing. And then as you're more aware, you'll be aware during the fact. And what happens is, as your state of awareness arises, you'll be aware before the fact. And then you'll be much less likely to do that thing. Right? It's the same way you're aware of the consequences of punching somebody in the face before you do it, so you don't do it, right? So it's the same thing with everything else. An experienced squatter squats with good form because they know that they don't want to have bad form, because that's going to mess their lift up and it's going to keep them from progress. So they don't do it. So they make sure their form is as good as they can get it. So step 1, be aware. Acknowledge your bad habits. Step 2, let yourself do the thing. Step 3, be aware and analyze the consequences of what that thing, that bad habit or poor behavior is doing. Analyze the results of it. And then eventually you'll be aware, you'll have awareness before you do that thing, and then eventually you'll stop. And you'll be able to let it go. But this only happens when your awareness is high enough. So really exercise and train your awareness. Cue yourself. The same way I cue you guys and cue my clients, cue yourself. Get good at cueing yourself. Be your own coach, your own mental and emotional coach. Analyze your behavior and the bad habits that you may have while you're doing it. And judgment-free, analyze, and you'll be able to stop.